Okay, guys, so you're welcome, and this is Darko Labs, and this is an AI bootcamp specifically made for anyone who's interested in AI, machine learning, data science, and anything visualizations or data analysis. So you're welcome, and this is our next session, which is we are looking at today's session, which is going to be dictionaries. Okay, so today we are looking at dictionaries, and with dictionaries, we are looking at so many kinds of ways we can access dictionaries. We can create dictionaries, and also there are some kind of dictionary methods, and also there are some kind of nested dictionaries, iterating over dictionaries, and all that. So we are going to take our time and dive in. I'll take you through the normal process where we create our notebook, we select our kernel, and then based on that, we can run our codes on that particular environment we created earlier. So you're welcome, and this is the right channel where you learn, you educate, and also you code. So thank you, and let's begin. All right. So yesterday we looked at tuples, we looked at sets, and today we are looking at what we call dictionaries. Okay, dictionary. Okay, dictionaries. .ipynb. See? So now I've created my notebook dictionaries. Oh, sorry, I spelled it wrongly. So let me remove the S. Okay. So dictionaries in Python. So this is what we are covering for today. And now what I need to do next is to select my kernel. So I'll come here and then I'll select my kernel. Now once I select my kernel, which means I've chosen the environment I want to write my code on. Alright? And this is the virtual environment we created, which is VENV, virtual environment. It can be any name based on your end or within your project. Okay? Alright. Now what I need to do is, as I always do, let me first list what we are going to learn. Okay, so in a markdown we are looking at dictionaries. Okay, dictionaries. Okay, and in our dictionaries we are looking at one, creating dictionaries. Okay, we are looking at creating dictionary. Why do I usually bring s? Creating dictionaries. We are looking at two. We are looking at two. Assessing dictionaries. Yeah, assessing dictionaries. Okay. Three, we are looking at modifying. Oh, where am I typing so bad today? Modifying dictionary elements. Okay. And then four, we will look at I want us to cover everything. Four, we will look at we will look at dictionary. Why do I bring this? Dictionary methods. And then the next one after dictionary methods, we will look at iterating over dictionary. Iterating over dictionaries. Okay. And then the next one we will look at nested dictionary. We'll look at nested dictionaries. And then the next one we will look at dictionary comprehension. Okay. And then the next one we will look at some practical examples and some common errors. So it's the same as how we did the list, how we did the set, the tuples and all that. Okay. So my practical examples didn't come. So I'm saying if we look at practical, I think my keyboard is off. Why I can't? Oh, just a second. So we will look at practical. We will look at practical examples. Okay. We'll look at practical examples and some common errors. Okay. So this is what we are going to look at today when it comes to dictionaries. So today we are handling dictionaries, which is one of the data structures in Python. And with these data structures, what we are covering today is we are looking at creating dictionaries, we are looking at accessing dictionaries, we are looking at modifying dictionaries. Okay, I made this. Okay, dictionary elements. Yeah, that's correct. So modifying dictionary elements, dictionary methods, iterating over dictionaries, nested dictionaries, dictionary comprehension. Okay, and then we look at one last aspect, which will be some practical examples. Okay, all right. So now let's look at what is the. So this will be, let's say, let me introduce introduction. Okay. Now, when we say dictionary, it's basically what? Unordered. So, okay. So, dictionary is what? Unordered collection. Unordered collection of items. Okay. So, we are saying that dictionary is an unordered collection of items. Okay. So, it's unordered. We collect items and they are unordered. They are not ordered. So, it can be anything. Okay. Now, we are looking at the key things in dictionaries, which is key because it's relevant when you understand what is inside dictionary before we can start coding. Okay, so dictionaries are an ordered collection of items or elements. Okay, and then now they store data in key pairs. Okay, they store data in key value pairs. Let me bring the value so it becomes clear for you guys. In key value what? Pairs. Okay, we will look at that. So we are saying that they store data in key value pairs, meaning you have to have the key and you have to have the value. Then they become what? Dictionaries. Okay, and now keys must be unique. Okay, keys must be unique and immutable. Now take note of here. We are saying that keys must be unique and immutable, means they can't change. So you can't change the keys, but you can change the values. Alright guys? You can't change the keys, but you can change the value. So we are saying that dictionaries are an ordered collection of items, that is one. Dictionaries, they store data in key value pairs. They store data in key value pairs, meaning they store the data as key and then as value. And now we are saying that the keys must be unique and immutable, meaning the key, if you have one particular key, you need not to have that same key in that same dictionary. They must be unique and they are immutable, meaning you can't change that particular key whenever you put in that particular one dictionary. Okay, all right. So now let's look at some typical example. So now we are clear on what we are going to do, right? Okay. Now let's look at how we can create dictionaries. Let me use code. This time I'm using code. All right. Let's look at how we can create dictionaries. Okay. So let's look at how we can create a dictionary. So let's say, as usual, our empty what underscore dictionary. Okay. So let's say we have an empty dictionary. Now dictionaries, we use the curly bracket. This one, same as the set. What we did for the set. Okay. So now inside the curly bracket, we would have the key value pairs. This one, we will have the key value pairs. Okay. So inside the dictionary, so currently this is an empty what? Dictionary. So when I come here and I say print into bracket this particular thing for me. What is it? Now let's check if it's a dictionary, okay? And I come here and I say what type is it, right? So I'm looking for the type of this particular thing I have created right now. So we want to confirm if it is indeed a dictionary. All right. So you see, it tells us that the class is what? A dictionary, which means in Python, we have been able to create our empty dictionary. So as I'm saying, this is how we create what? Dictionaries in Python. And all you need to do is inside the curly bracket, you pass your key value pairs. Inside the curly brackets, you pass what? Your key value pairs, and you're good to go. So now let's look at another thing. So let's look at this. Let's copy the empty dictionary, okay? And let's say it's assigned to dict, okay? It's assigned to dish like this. Now, what will be this one? Let's print and see. Let's print empty dictionary. Now we are saying that empty dictionary is assigned to dict. This is an inbuilt method or function. Now when we run this, we should get it to be seen as what? Also a dictionary. So it is also telling us that yes, this is also a dictionary for us. Previously, when we did something like this, it tells us that what? The type is a dictionary. And now when we also do something like this, it's telling us the type is also what? A dictionary. You understand? So it's the same concept like what we did for the set and order. So we are trying to verify that indeed we are dealing with dictionaries here and also here. Okay? So you see the curly bracket is very important. That's why when we use the inbuilt method, this one, dict bracket open bracket close, it's also telling us that we are in what? Dictionary mode. Okay? Alright. Now let's look at how we can let me see if I can do one example. Okay, let's look at this example. Okay, so let's say we have student. Okay, let's say we create an addition. Okay, addition of student, and the first one is, let's say, the name of the student. Oh, sorry, the name of the student. Okay, the name of the student. We are saying key pair value. So if I say the name of the student, now I need to bring column like this, then the other pair, which will be the value. Okay, so let's say the name of the student will be Dennis. Okay, so now this is the key pair value, this thing, key pair values. Okay, this key pair values is this. So we are saying that the first one is the key, and then the second one is the value, and in between them we use colon. Okay, so in a nutshell, this tells us that we are operating in dictionary in Python, and the key, how to operate on key pair values are, we use the colon. Okay, take note. So that's why I'm saying that I want to create some kind of data, and the data I'm creating, I'm saying that I want some information from students, or I want to enter a particular student's information, and based on that I said, okay, I have my variable name called student, and with this variable I'm defining it as what? A dictionary, and within the dictionary I'm setting my key value pairs. Is it clear? All right. So now because it's a string, that is why you are seeing that I'm putting it in what? A double quote. Okay, because name is obviously going to be a string. That is the data type. So the data type is string, so I need to put it in what? In a double quotation mark. That's why you are seeing it like that. And then you're asking a question, why did the type result not set? No, we are dealing with dictionaries, not set. We are done with set already. Okay, so don't worry, don't confuse yourself with set. Now we are done with set. This is dictionary, and then when we say type into bracket empty dictionary, we are looking for the type of this particular variable holding this particular data, and now it's telling us that the type is what? Dictionary. Okay, all right. It will not be set because when you check yesterday when we did for set, we saw how set was. But when we print, because set, we don't create empty, okay, we use the method set. Okay, when you remove this and you run the type, you will not get that set, you will get dictionary. Okay, all right, so that's the difference. In set, we don't empty when we want to assign this. Okay, all right, so let's look at dictionaries now. So we are saying that this is the key and this is the value. So you can see that you are saying that the key doesn't change. So mostly, think of this way, okay? Think as if you have a data set, or let me not even go further like that. Let's say you have Excel. I know most of you know Excel. So you know within your Excel, you have rows and columns, right? The rows and columns, you could see that for the columns, it has column names for every section within your columns you have the name of that particular column, isn't it? So those names for that particular columns are the keys. Okay, so you have each individual section, you have column name, so those ones are the keys. And you know within that particular column name you have data there, and that is the value. Okay, they both use curly bracket. Yes, they both use curly bracket. So student keys, okay, and this is the values. So mostly take note that the data, which is the key, doesn't change, but the data can change. That is why we can update databases or Excel. You can make some changes and all that. But with the moment you switch the heading and all that, it becomes some different. But in Excel you can do that. But in databases we don't do that. If you want to update or you want to modify or change a particular attribute, you can do that. But in Python, when it comes to dictionaries, you can't change the key, but you can change the value. Okay, all right. So now I said students assigned to dictionary name Dennis. Let me do another one. Let me add another one. Let's say age. Okay, age is let's say 25. Okay, let's do another one. Let's say grade. Okay, so let's say grade, and then let's say the grade is let's say 24. Let's say 24. So now you see, so we have students. The name of the student is Dennis. The age is 25. The grade is 24. You see, so this is how we create dictionaries. You assign it to a variable. You can just leave this one out, and this will be a dictionary. But you need to store it somewhere, right? So that is why we are bringing in the variable, so we can store this entire data in this particular variable. So the computer will store all these data temporarily for us, and we can use it anywhere we call this particular name variable student. Okay, all right. So now if I come below it like this and I print into bracket what student, into bracket student, then I should get all the details of that particular data in the dictionary for us. Okay, and I can also look for the type. So let's say print student. Okay, now inside the student I'll look for the type. So let me bring my type here, type of this student. So what is the type? So now if I run, I should get all these data here, and then I should get the type of that particular data. So let's see. So you see, now we have name Dennis, age 25, grade 24, and the type is what? Dictionary. Okay, all right. So it's as simple as that. Okay, now let's look at some single key. Let's look at how single keys are used. Okay, let's look at how single keys are used so you understand everything correctly. Single keys. Okay, usage. So let's say single key usage. So single key usage, all that we are going to do is let's use the same student. Okay, and now with the student, let me just copy it so I don't have to type. Okay, Amazing typing. So now we have students, single keys usage. Let's look at how we can use single keys. Now, what I need to do is here, what I'm going to do is, okay, we have name Dennis, age 25, grade 24, right? What I'm going to do here is I want to be able to just print the student, okay? So once I print the student, okay, I can just say student. Once I print this, okay, this thing, name, blah, 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 blah. I want to just get, let's say the name and then this, the age, and that's it. I don't want maybe this one, okay? Sorry, the grade. I don't want the grade. Maybe I just want the name and then the age or the age of the student, and that's it. And I can just use what? Anything. So let's say I can just run another code here, and let me show you how you can access. So let me go to accessing dictionary elements. Okay, so with this, now we know that, okay, this is just how we can get our students in a single way. I can get all this, but how can we access and then maybe change, let's say 24 to any number, or let's say change Dennis to any particular student name, right? Can we do and no, and is not here. Okay, so accessing dictionary elements, so the same student, let me just paste it here. And then with this student, let's say I want to make sure that, okay, this is Dennis, age, let's say, let's make it so it doesn't repeat for the other one. So let's say the age is, no, let's say, let's maintain a 25 for now. Let's say the grade is no more 24. Let's say the grade is A. Okay. So now, let me run this. Okay. All right. A is not defined. Okay. Yeah, sorry. It's a string. I didn't put in a string. So A. Okay. All right. So now, when we run this, you could see that, let's print. Student. Okay. So we could see that now we have A as part of the grade. So A is a grade, and then all that. Now let's look at how we can access any of these kind of what? Data. Okay. Let's look at how we can access any of these data, right? So once I come to the next code, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look at how I can access in two ways. So we have two ways you can access this particular data. Okay, we are going to look at how we can use the key to access it, and also we look at how we can use the inbuilt method, which is get to access it. Okay, so first let's look at using the key, okay, to access. Okay, so we are going to look at how we can use the key to access any of the data elements there. All right, and all that we need to do is we can just say student. Okay, student, and you know how we access something. We bring the square bracket. Don't forget this thing, and you will be using this thing a lot in anywhere you go, whether you are preparing data analysis, you are doing data analysis and all that. So using the key to access, we do something like this: the variable name, which is student, and then we bring the square, okay, the square bracket, and then within the square bracket, what is the key? So let's say we want to access, we want to get the age of Dennis, which is 25. So what will we put here in the comment section? What will be inside our square bracket? We want to access, we want to get the age of Dennis, which is 25. What will be in the square bracket? Age. Okay, so I will just put that like this, age. Okay, so here I will say student blah 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 age, but because I want to get the result, so I will say print. I'll put all of them in my print function. Okay, so I can get to display it. All right, now when I run this like this, I should get 25. So you see how we access the dictionary by using the key. This is very important, guys. Dictionaries are very important because you will use it a lot when you are dealing with data analysis. So please, if you don't understand anything, try to ask questions. okay? Because you're going to use it a lot when we get to data analysis side, okay? So I'm saying that print student. Now, student is our variable, is our data table. So now take it as if student is the table name, and inside the table name we have attributes, and the attribute is age. Okay, if you don't know any, if you don't have knowledge of database, now think of it this way: student, okay, is the Excel name. Okay, when you open Excel, so student is the Excel name. Let me see if I can get Excel. I don't think I can get Excel. So when you open Excel, within the Excel, the name of that particular Excel sheet, or the name of that particular Excel, is the student, is the variable that is holding the entire data. Okay, now when you go to the Excel sheet, we have rows and columns. Now the columns names are what we call the age, this one. Okay, and now inside the column there is a data or observations or a historical data. That data is the age 25. Okay, so that data is the 25. All right, guys, so that's how you should think about it, because when we are moving forward, we're moving forward with databases and all that. Okay, that's what I'm trying to let you, I'm creating the awareness that this is the same as you have an Excel, the Excel sheet name, and then based on the sheet name, within it we have rows and columns, and the age is the column name, and within the column there is data, and the 25 is the data. It's as simple as that. So when we get to where we will be dealing with databases, you guys will understand better how we can access it using this technique we are learning here. And it's simple. All right, good. Okay, so now we've been able to access using key method. All right, now let's look at another one. So what will be, okay guys, type in the comment section, what if I want to get grade A? So what will be my code? If I want to get grade A, I want to get grade A for Dennis. I want to get grade A for Dennis. What will be my code? Just type it in the comment section. What will be my code? What will be my code? Okay, grade. Okay, so you guys are correct. So all that I need to do is I will come here, I will say student, okay, bring my square bracket inside my quotation mark. Inside the quotation mark, I bring my grade. Okay, now because I want to display the result, I'll put all of them in what? In a print function like this. Okay, it's as simple as that. You just need to understand the flow. Okay, so you see, I'll just run and I'll get grade A. Yeah, Sammy, you are correct. Print student bracket grade. Okay, good. You guys are correct. Desert Wolf, you're also correct. So you see, so that's how I get my results, which is simple. Now let's look at the second method. Okay, let's look at another second method. Let me do it here. Let's look at assessing using get method. Okay, using the get method. Okay, so let's look at how we can also assess using this get method without we having to bring writing all these things. Okay, we want to see how we can assess still using the get method, and all that we need to do is we just bring for the variable name. You never lose it. Okay, so all that we need to do is what? Student dot. So remember, whenever you are using an inbuilt method, you bring dot. Okay, so that you tell the compiler or the interpreter that okay, you want to access a particular inbuilt method. So student dot what? Get. Then inside the get, what are we getting? What are we getting? We are getting what? Let's say we are getting the grade. Okay, so we get a grade. That's it. We don't bring the square bracket again. Take note. Okay, we don't bring the square bracket again. But because we want to display, remember, we'll bring our print. Put everything in the print. Okay, put everything in the print like this. So student.get, the same thing we can do for the age. Okay, so I will just copy it since we now know. We paste, and then we only change here to what? Age, like this. You see, so when I run, I should still get the same result. So when I run, you see A25 is the same thing. I won't switch the alignment. I arrange it differently. Okay. So you see how we can also use the get method to access data in our dictionary. Okay. And this is dictionaries had a good way, especially when we are dealing with data analysis. So guys, take note of it and then make sure you understand it properly. Okay. All right. Now we know how to access. Let's look at how we can modify. Okay. Sorry. Let's look at how we can modify. Okay. Let's look at how we can modify dictionary elements. Okay. So now we are saying that dictionaries are mutable. Mutable. Okay. So you can add, update, or delete elements. But um let's say we have this. Let's say we have this. Let's say we have this. Okay. So let's say we have student. Okay. Now we have this student name Dennis, age 25, grade A. Right. Let's say we want to update any of the value of the key. Okay. So let's say we want to update value for the key. Okay. So let's say we want to update the value for the key. So the value is this. The value is this. The value is this. So the values are Dennis 25A. Let's say we want to change the age 25 to, let's say, 33. So how will we do it? We will just use the student. Okay. We will just say student, right? And what are we changing? We are changing the age, right? So age like this. Okay. So student age, then what will we do? We will just say assign to 33. Now, this will tell the computer that I want to go to this particular key age and then change to 33. So when it gets there, any data that is there, it will just change to 33. Okay. Okay. And now let's run by printing print into bracket student. Okay. All right. So let's update and see. So you see now our age is what? 33. Okay. Yeah, you can access two keys at the same time. You saw it here. You saw I was accessing two keys at the same time. These are individual keys that I was accessing. So if you want, you can. So let's do it here so you get it if it's possible. Okay. So let's say we want to access this key, but comma like this. We bring another one like this, and then we say, let's say grade, right? I hope, Simon, is this how you want it? So let's print and see. Okay. Yeah, on the same line, right? So this is how you want it. So you see 33, and then what? Grade. No. Grade supposed to be. Okay, let me put it. I think it's not accepting. Supposed to. So grade. So you see, we can't put it on the same line, right? But let's say assuming we didn't bring the comma. So let's see. So you get error. Alright. So basically what we usually do is you can bring the variable name here, and then you can say student, and I think this should work. So you see, so basically sometimes that's how we do it. Comma, you bring the variable name and then the grade. Okay, then we can get it on the same line. Okay, all right, I hope you are clear on that. Okay, that's a good question. So now let's move on. So update value for the key. Now if you want to update the value, now we've done this using the normal. So let's look at another one. You see, we've changed the age to 33, right? Let's look at another one whereby we want to what do we call it? Let's say we want to add. Okay, let's say we want to add a new key. Okay, now we know how to access, how to modify, and all that, how to update. So we know how to access, how to modify, how to update. Let's look at how we can add. Okay, add a new key and value. Okay, how we can add a new key and value. So someone said two curly brackets will work for two keys. Two keys, two keys. Two curly bracket, I don't understand. Which one are you referring to? Maybe when we are done, then you let me know, okay? Add a new key and value. So someone said, can you get the key or you can only get the values? Oh, the keys are what, the keys doesn't change, one. And the keys are, what are you going to get for the key? You can only, once you bring in the key, Clement, automatically you want to access a particular data, okay? So mostly, the moment you bring the key, for instance, we brought age here. The moment we bring age here, it means we want to either change or access a particular data and all that. So mostly when we bring the key, it means we want to access a particular one or get a particular value or result from somewhere. Okay? All right. So now let's look at how we can add a new key and value. So student, okay, student, and then we bring our square bracket. Inside our square bracket, let's say, what should we add? Yes, type in the comment section. What should we add as our new key value? So what data should we collect now? In the comment section, what data should we collect? Gender, okay. So I will say gender. And then inside the gender, what will be, so now you get a logic here. So now the gender is the key, okay. So now I need to assign the value. So what will be the value for the gender? What will be the value for the gender? Male, okay. So you say male, all right. Now you see, so we are saying that we are adding a new key, okay? And with this new key, we just need to set the variable name because this is the variable holding the entire dictionary data. So we want to add another data to this particular dictionary, okay? So all we need to do is say student, then inside our square bracket, we add the key. And the key, because it's a string, we put it in what? In double quotes, and then we assign it to what? Male. So when I run this particular gender male will be added to this particular dictionary. So let's see. Okay, I didn't print, sorry. So print student, okay. Let me see, name male is not defined. Oh, sorry, it's a string. Oh, why today I'm just, okay. So male. So you see we have name, student, age 33, grade 8, and now previously it was this, and now you see we have gender and male. You see, guys, why is the male not in double quotation mark? Oh, it can be double or single, you still get it. You can make it single, okay, you can put them in single and you still get the result, okay. So you see, it's because I've run already, that's why we are seeing the first one to be the same. So all right, so it can be the same, you'll still be able to add, okay. Can a key have multiple values? No, please, a key cannot have multiple values, okay. All that you can do is, a key can have multiple values when you are, remember I said we cannot have keys cannot change. Remember the condition here. I said on other collection of items, they store data in key value pairs. Keys must be unique and immutable. You cannot change it. So what we can do is, we can only do something like this. So with respect to your question, let me just print students, okay. Now what we can do is, you see name Dennis, age 33, grade this. We cannot have another name like this. We cannot assign. So let's do it, you see. So let's do it, you see. So let's say I want to copy let's say I want to add another one. Okay, let's say we want to add, so that you see that we cannot have multiple values. Okay, the values can be different, but the key, no, you can modify, you modify the position of each key with its value. No, you can modify the value, but you cannot modify the key. Remember, I said the key cannot be changed. Okay, all right. So what example was I was trying to test? Someone asked a question on, can a key have multiple values? Okay, multiple values. No, so you cannot have one key like this, and this particular key has, let's say, comma, female. Okay, let's say like this, right? So these are multiple values, right? So let's see. So you see, gender, male, female. So we can't have it, right? But the whole thing is we cannot have multiple gender. You will look at an example of that, okay? All right. So what we can have is, yes, we can say gender. Gender could be male and female, and this will help us when we are accepting inputs, okay? Which we can run here and we can assign all this to be. We can say that we can just assign all this to an input, and when we enter, it goes into student. Okay, all right. So we can put it here and say input, right? And then you can put everything in inputs, okay? And then we will set the male and female, like how we did for the list and all that. Okay, all right. So I think the question has been answered, which we can do that here. We can get more values, but we cannot get multiple keys. Just take note of that. So we can have multiple values, but not multiple keys. Yes. Yeah, the order at which they are presented. No, you cannot change the order at which they are. It's either you are modifying, deleting, updating, and all that. Once you set them, okay, it's either you are removing the entire row. Okay, you cannot arrange. It's like you are in a database and all that. No, you cannot say no. You go to the first line, let the other. No. So it's either you remove it and replace, or you switch it off. All right. Okay. So let's look at another one where we can delete key and value pair. Okay. How we can delete key and value pairs. All right. So when we want to delete key and value pairs, what we can do here is we can say that, okay, we have some kind of keyword. There is a keyword. So Sami said, yes, example, student course is equal to physics, blah, blah. Yeah. So I think that one I've done that, which is we can have multiple values as is here, okay? But we cannot have multiple keys. So take note, all right? Because we can have multiple, but because we can use this key, dictionaries, to even create a whole project, okay, where the dictionary will be storing the data for us. You understand? So we can have multiple data, but with just one column. So take it as if we have one column name, and within that particular column name, we have so many data inside. Okay, so that's why we are saying that we can have multiple values, but we cannot have multiple keys. All right. So let's look at how we can delete. And in deleting key and value pairs, all that you need to know is we have a keyword already in Python for us to delete any key value pairs. Okay, and that is just this one, deal, which is delete. Okay, and we use this at the beginning, then we bring the variable name of what we are holding or storing in the dictionary on. So we are storing in a student, so we bring it, and then what are we deleting? So remember I said these two are what we call the key value pairs. Okay, we cannot delete just the name or the key, but the moment you decide you want to delete, it has to be the key value pairs. So this is called the key value pairs. So we have the key and then the value. Okay, so for us to delete key and value pairs, all we need to do is what? Use the what? the delete student, then we use the key. Once we use the key here, it will delete it. Okay, all right. So once we come here, then we will say, let's say we want to delete what should we delete? Let's say grade. Okay, so let's say we want to delete grade. So this will delete it. Okay, so we will not have grade in our dictionary. So once I run, let me print. So once I run, I should get name, Dennis, age 33, gender this. You see, we have deleted one. Grade A. We have deleted this. It's a keyword. So deal is a keyword. It's a keyword. You can say method or you can say function, but the key thing is it's a keyword in Python. Okay, which we use to delete key value pairs. Okay, all right. Methods are when you bring something like this. We do something like this. Those are the methods where we use the get. You see, this is a method. This is a method. Okay, when I hover like this, it should tell me something. Okay, today my hover is not coming. Okay, all right. So let me scroll down, guys. So you see how we can delete. So this is just a keyword. Okay, I don't know why today my hovering is not coming. All right. So this is a keyword, or you can say method, but I don't call it a method. I just call it a keyword because it's one of the keyword in Python. Okay. Okay. All right. So now let's move on. Let's move on, guys. So now we've been able to know how we can delete. So let's see how we can work with dictionary methods. Okay. So dictionary methods. All right. So let's look at how we can get dictionary methods. Now, for us to get dictionary methods, we can get all the keys by using the keys, or we can get all the values by using the values, or we can get there's another one, or we can get all the value pairs by using what we call items. So basically, there are some inbuilt method already in Python for us. Okay, there are some inbuilt methods in Python for us which we can use. So I can say that, okay, let me say my variable name is keys, and let's say it's equal to. So let me first let you guys know what we are doing. So now we want to get all the keys. Okay, so this is our goal. We want to get all the keys. Okay, and for us to get the keys, let's say our variable name is keys is equal to let's use the student. We don't want to define any data again. So let's use the student. Okay. So keys is equal to student. Okay. So this student, I want to use a particular method to get all the keys. So now you're getting the concept here. I want to use a particular method to get all the keys. And when we say keys, what are the keys? Name, age, gender. So I will say dot student dot what? Dot just keys like this. This is a method. So this method will help us to get all the keys. Okay. So if I run or if I print keys, okay, I will get all the student keys. So let's run it. You see, dictionary keys, name, age, gender. Okay. Now let's say if I want to another one where I can get all values. Get all values. So you see how we get them. So I can also say let me give another variable name. Values is equal to student. Okay, student dot values. So you see the same method. So now student dot values, then I'll print into bracket values. Okay, when I run this, I'll get all the values, which is Dennis 33 and then male female. So let's run that as well. So you see Dennis 33 male female. So you see, this is telling you that how we can, guys, that's why I always want you to pay attention. First, we were able to access the values, okay, and second, we were able to access the values based on the keys, right? Now I'm teaching you a different concept where you can use the keys to even access this key method. This key method to even get all the keys, and also you can use this value method to get all the values. Okay, and then let's look at another one. Let's look at another one. What is it? What is it? Get all. I want to remember. Get all value pairs. Yes. So get all value pairs. Okay. So we can also use another one where we can get all value pairs. All right. So when I come here, I will only say, let's say they are items, or all value pairs are items or elements. So let's use items. Items is equal to, so let's use the same student. Okay. So student dot item. So this is also another inbuilt method in Python. Okay. So now this will also help me to get all value pairs, all key value pairs, all key value pairs. Okay. Now I can print my items. Okay, and I'll be able to get all of them. You see, name Dennis, age 33, gender this. You see, with the help of me just using the items method, I can also get all these key value pairs. Is that clear? All right. So now let's look at another concept. Okay, another concept in what we call dictionaries, where we call something shallow copy. Okay, so let's look at shallow copy. Okay, let's look at shallow copy. So shallow copy, let me set an example so we can explain. Okay, so let's say the same thing, student underscore. Let's copy the student data. Student underscore copy is assigned to, let's say, student. Okay, now we've copied the student, and let's print first student. Okay, and then once we print student, let's say we also want to print the student copy. Student underscore the copy. Okay, now let's see what will happen. Okay, there's no rush. I will explain the shallow copy later. We are trying to print the student data, and first we've set a copy. But you know, in a normal circumstance, a copy means that, okay, this student copy is assigned to student, which means once I run this code, okay, this code is supposed to first give me the student data, and then second, it will give me the same student data, isn't it? But that is not shallow copy. That is not how we want it. But let's look at it later on. All right. So you see, it's giving me the same thing. It's giving me the same thing. But this is not shallow copy. If you do shallow copy this way, it's wrong. It means you're not getting the actual data you want. And guys, take note, shallow copy really helps when you are doing a lot of data analysis in terms of you using pandas and data frames. So when you declare your data frames, sometimes you need to just copy it, then you using it without changing the main actual data frame. You understand the concept? We will have a main data. So this is our main data, student. Now we just want to have a copy of this student and work with it, so that any modification or any changes we do, it goes directly to this student copy and doesn't affect the main student data we have. You get the concept? But now you see, I did a shallow copy, which is not a correct shallow copy, and it's just giving me the same data. So it means when I go anywhere and use this particular shallow copy variable anywhere in my program, I am making a big mistake. Okay, I'll be making a big mistake. All right. So the key thing is, shallow copy is not done this way. So what we will do is, let's say, let me go to the next line. So let's say we have students. Okay, sorry, my chest. Let's say we have students, and let's say the name. Okay, let's go with the name. Let's say name is equal to Dennis. Okay, now this is Dennis. All right, now let's do something. You will see how it works. Okay, so print student. Okay, print what do we call it? What's the name? Shallow student underscore copy. Okay, now you see, what I'm doing is I'm trying to show you how the shallow copy works. Okay, All right. And with a shallow copy, you will be able to understand how the shallow copy differs when it comes to the first one we did earlier, this one. Okay. But because I'm working with shallow copy, I don't want to repeat the data. So let me just make it, let's say, then is 2. Let's just make it like this, then is 2. So now you will see that this is a different data. This is a different data from this. Okay. We are adding another different data. Okay. Let me clear the Dennis. Let me make it dark. Okay, so this is a different data, so you get it clear. Okay, all right. Now, what we are saying is that we are working with shallow copy. Shallow copy means that when we get this, the copy of the main or the original data, we don't want to use we don't want to work on the original data. Sorry, we want to work on the copy, so that when at any changes or any modification we do, it happens right in the copy and not the original data. You get the logic? So what I'll do is I'll come here and say, okay, I'm adding a particular data to this. Okay, go to student and then go to shallow copy. So let's see the difference. So you see, now we have name, Darko. So we've changed the name Dennis to what? Name and Darko. Name Darko. And you see, it's still doing the shallow copy. So now let's look at how the shallow copy works. Okay, so the shallow copy works this way. I will come down. Sorry, let me run another code here. So what I will do for the shallow copy is I will say student, okay, student underscore copy. So let's say underscore copy 1 because we already have our copy. We don't want to use it anymore. It's assigned, but we will still use our student main data. The student is our main data. Okay, don't forget. Dot reuse copy like this. So this, oh sorry, my hand. So this is the method we use to perform our shallow copy. This, okay. So when we say that student underscore copy 1 is equal to student dot copy, this is an inbuilt method for us to use for our shallow copy. Take note of this, guys. It's very important when you are dealing with data analysis. You'll be using a lot of shallow copy because most of the time you want to keep the original data, have a copy, and then work with it. Okay, all right. Okay, so what we are going to do is the shallow copy is just another data frame or another variable we want to store this particular student's data in, but it's just a copy of the original one which was in this particular student. So we are saying that student underscore copy 1 is equal to student dot copy, and this is an inbuilt function. This will help us do what we call what? Shallow copy. But when you do it this way, you are not doing shallow copy. So take note, guys. You are rather repeating the data or the data frame. Okay, all right. So now when we do something like this, so this is what? This is shallow copy. Okay, so this is shallow copy, and with this shallow copy we can just print. You will see the difference. We can just print student underscore copy 1. Okay, and then we can also print the main data, which is student. Okay, so now you see, previously we were just getting the repetitions, right? We were just getting the repetitions. Now this is our main data. This now this should be for the student, and then this one should be a different one, a shallow copy. But let's see if we have the main student and also the other one. Let's see. So you see, we are still getting the same thing here. Okay, we are still getting the same thing here, but now let's do something. When we say student, okay, when we say student, then this, let's change to a different one. Let's say, let's change the name because I switched the name, so we'll get the same repetition. So let's change the name to, let's say, student student is assigned to, let's say, Darko 2. Okay, let's say Darko 2. All right, or let's say, yeah, Darko 2 is okay. Let's use Darko 2, and then let's say it's a string. So let me put in a string. All right, so now let's print again. Okay, let me just copy this thing so I don't have to type. All right, let's copy. This one, let's put it here. So we are supposed to get the same, which is name this that, which will tell us that okay, we have shallow copy. We are using what do we call it? We are working on the main data. We are not working on the main data, but we are working on a copy of the data. So what I need to do is I'll run this. Why? Oh, sorry. It's supposed to be in string name. Okay. All right. So you see. So check the data. The first one is what? You see the copy. This is the copy, and then check the second one. You see the difference here. You see the difference here. So it means that this is where is our copy. Our copy is this. Okay, and then this is the main one, right? So now we have our main one and then the copy, which is different, which we can work on the copy. So take note of these things. Can we also do copies with list? Yeah, you can do shallow copy. You can just do dot copy and then just copy. Okay. Yeah. The reason why I'm teaching the copy here is because I'm ending the data structure. So I'll let you know. So the dot copy, you can use it like this. Okay. Whenever you want to copy, let's say you have a list, a student list, and you want to copy. So the student list has a variable, which is a list. You just say any of the variable, let's say student dot copy, and then you copy, then you maintain your original, and then you work on that particular copy. Okay. All right. So now let's look at another concept, another one. Let me go and check my bullet points. So we are done with dictionary methods. Iterate. Okay, so we are on iterating. All right. So let's look at iterating. So let's look at iterating over dictionaries. Okay. Let's look at iterating over dictionaries. Okay. So iterating over dictionaries is very simple. We can use loops. So we are going to use loops to iterate over this kind of dictionaries when it comes to the key values and then the pairs, okay, or the items. So the key values or the items. So we are going to look at how we can iterate over them. All right. And it's very simple. All we need to do is we iterate over keys. Okay. We iterate over keys. Okay. So we are going to iterate over the keys. So you can say for keys, we now know loops, so it's not difficult. For keys in student, so let's use the student. So for keys in student, so what will you do? You say dot keys. That's it. So for keys in student dot keys, then we can print the keys. Okay. So this is a temporary variable holding this key where we are getting all the keys. We will store it in this particular temporary variable. And the keys we are looking for, they are in this particular dictionary. So that's why we are saying that for keys, this is a temporary variable, okay? And this temporary variable, we are saying that for keys in student is a dictionary. So that's why we are going to use the keys method. So we are saying that for keys in student dot keys, which means go and get all the keys in student and come and store it in this temporary variable called keys. So we just have to print our temporary variable to see the data. All right. So once I run, I'm going to get the keys, name, age, gender, as simple as that. And I can use loops or iterations to do this without me doing the first one we did here, like how we did here, using item, blah, 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 student dot reset keys is equal to student dot keys, print keys, and then we got them. We can also use for loop or loops to iterate over the dictionary and then get the keys. So you get what I mean? We iterated over the dictionary to get the keys from that particular dictionary. And it's as simple as that. Oh, thank you, Evan. Okay, so this is a temporary variable holding whatever we will get from the dictionary student. Okay, so we print and then we get name, age, gender. And it's very simple. All right, now let's look at how we can also iterate over values. And now you guys should get a concept, right? So I will just copy this. I don't need to type again. I'll come here, copy this, paste, and I'll say iterate over values. Okay, value pairs. No, let's first handle values first. Then we look at value pairs. Okay. So now for values, I will just switch. Okay. Let me type. I'm lazy too much. Let me type. So now we are going to iterate over what? Over value. So it will be for value. This is our temporary variable. Okay. In student. Okay. In student dot we do what? We do values. And this is very simple. We've learned this already. So I will just do what? I will just print. Oh, sorry, I didn't bring my colon. Then I will just print my value. Okay. Let me drink some water. So I'll just print my value, and once I run this, I should get all the values. Darko 2, 33, male and female. As simple as that. Now let's look at another one. Okay. How we can print value pairs. So you see the concept value pairs. Okay. Iterate over key value pairs. Okay. Key value pairs. Now the same thing we can say for. So what are we iterating over? So we need a temporary variable. Please type in the comment section what our temporary variables will be. Oh, is the keys just a variable name? So when can replace keys? Yes. So let me go back. Yeah, that's a good question. So this is just a variable name. Where is it? This is a temporary variable name. Okay, Cleveland. Clayton. This is a temporary variable name. Okay, and for loop, what we learned previously is we said okay for, then we create our temporary variable in what? There is a particular variable holding the main data, which is student. So these are all variable. This is a variable, this is a variable, but this is the main variable, which is a fixed variable, and this is our temporary variable, which we are going to store whatever data we get from here. We will store it here, then we can get the data for us to see. Okay. So yes, it's just a variable. It can be any name here. Okay. It can be any name here. Okay. All right. But because we are working with keys, that is why I'm using the main name so that it is attributed to what we are learning. All right. Okay. Now, so we now understand the iterating over value. That's why I'm also using value here. Okay. So now I'm saying that in a comment section, please type, we want to iterate over key value pairs. So what do you guys think will be our temporary variable? Yes, in the comment section. So someone said key value is our variable. Okay. Okay. Sammy also said key value. Okay. Okay. Clayton also said keys values. Okay. Yeah, you guys are getting the concept clear. So it's very simple. So it will be key, comma value. Okay. So for key, comma value in what? In student, because we are looking for those keys and values in the student data. Okay. So for key, comma value in student, then we do what? Dot what? So what will we do? It will be dot what? In the comment section, let me get you clear the answer. In the comment section, what will be the next code? Student dot item. Good, that's correct. So student dot item, which is an inbuilt method, as simple as that. And because we are dealing with for loop, I'll bring my colon. Then here I can print. So what will I print? In the comment section. In the comment section, what will I print? What will I print? No, student dot value will give us this. See, student dot values will give us this. But we are dealing with items. We want all the items in the student dictionary. That's why we are using item method. Okay. So what will be the print here? Key value. Okay, that's correct. Key, comma, value. Okay. Now, okay. So once we run this here, you see we are getting error somewhere, right? So we are saying that key, for key, comma, value in student dot, oh sorry, items. I didn't bring the S. All right. So we are good to go, guys. So Name, Darko, age 33, gender, this. You see, we've gotten all of them here, right? And you can make, because remember, we are getting key value pairs. Remember, I told you in Python we need the colon to be part, so it can be like this. Let me print the student, so it can be like this. We want it to be like this. We want to have this colon. Okay, so how will I do it, guys? In the comment section, how will I do it in this particular iteration? How will I do it? I want to see name, then there will be a colon here, then the Darko 2 comes. Age, there will be a colon here, then the 33 comes. Gender, then colon here, then the male and female comes. Yeah, Ken, you can be a better student. This is a boot camp. So we started right from the basics and we are building up gradually. So once I'm done, if you guys have any question, kindly request. I'll bring you up. I'm almost done, so don't worry. So guys, what will be the alignment here? Because it's very key when you are dealing with code. You need to know how to arrange the code and make it proper for display. So now I'm saying that we've solved the problem of iterating over key value pairs, which is correct. Now what I want you guys to do for me now is, how will I make sure that I get this colon in the middle of these results? How will I do that? How will I do that? Print K F. Okay, the one who said F is getting closer. Mayor is getting closer. But how you did it? F F minus. You've removed. Okay. I would say Mayor is getting closer. Yes. So it's basically something like this. You bring F. Okay. Sorry. F. Then because our keys are in what dictionary form, so I'll put all of them in double quotes like this. Okay, like this, and then I'll put them in a dictionary mode. Okay, so this one is going to be the curly bracket. Okay, and then this one will be in the curly bracket. Okay, I'll do the same. Then I'll remove the comma, and instead of the comma I'll bring the colon. Okay, and I'll bring the open curly bracket again, and then the close curly bracket. And once I run this, so you see, so first it's like this. It's like this. Okay, first it's like this. Okay, then I'll just put this here. That's it. It's just me representing the curly brackets for the key, then I bring the colon, then the curly bracket for the value. And then when I run, I will see the colon inside. You see, I will see the colon inside. All right. Yeah, make colon as a string in between them. That's perfect. That's perfect. Make colon as a string in between them. That's it. You see, someone just type it there. You're good. So that's how it is. Okay. Now let's look at should we go deep? Should we go deep? Let's go deep, guys. Let's look at nested. Okay. Let's look at nested dictionaries. Okay, let's look at nested dictionaries, right? So for nested dictionaries, let's look at one example. So we can say students is assigned to so it's a dictionary, right? So we bring this, and then inside a student, let's say we want to have multiple data. Okay, so I'll say student 1, student 1. No, so let me put them in, it's a string. So student 1, okay, student 1 colon, let's give that particular student 1 a data. So I'll say, so this is nested. You see how I'm doing it. So students inside student 1 colon, then I put them in a data. So I'll say the name of this student 1 is I will say Dennis. Okay. Then outside this, I will bring my comma, and then I will say, let's say the age of this student is, let's say 32. Okay. Now We are doing nested dictionary, so don't get confused. All that we are saying is this is our variable, and inside our variable, we are saying that for nested dictionary, this is the first key. Our first key is this, and inside this first key, we are still defining another one, dictionary. You guys get the concept? So inside this first key, okay, inside this dictionary, we are still defining another dictionary, and inside that dictionary, so this entire dictionary has one key here, okay, which is student one, and with this we are assigning another key values and key values. Now we do the same thing, okay. So what I'll do is I'll just bring comma here. So I just want to do the same thing here, so I will say student 2, okay, student 2 outside colon, right? Then I'll do the same curly bracket. Inside the curly bracket, I'll bring my, again, name. Outside, I'll bring my value. So let's say the value should be, let's give another name. So what will be the name? Let's make it Isaac, okay? And then comma, another key. What should it be? Age. And then let's say outside colon. What should be the age? Let's say 35. Okay. All right. So what we are saying is we are performing nested dictionaries. Okay. Someone asked a question. Summit, where is it? I'm lost. Can we go with this as well? Print, key. Yes, Summit, that will work. Yes, that will work. That will also work. Print, key, then inside you bring the column. Okay, that will work. Try it and let me see. All right, it should work. So students, okay, so nested dictionary. So we have our first, we have our second, okay, and now when we come outside the dictionary and then we print what? We are printing the student, okay, we print the student. All that we need here is for students, we've assigned a dictionary, and this is the dictionary. Inside the dictionary, we have this data, and we have another data, and this is one dictionary, and this is also another dictionary. Okay, and now what we are saying is that inside this dictionary we have the key, the value, the key, the value, the key, the value, the key, the value. So that is a nested one dictionary, and we can just print, and then we get student 1 data is this, student 2 data is this. Okay, but what we need is how can we access these nested dictionaries? Okay, how can we access nested dictionary? That's the key goal. Okay, how can we access this particular nested dictionary? That's the key goal. Same concept we have been learning on nested loops, nested lists, nested sets, nested tuples, and all that. Is that same concept. Okay, so we will say students, that's our variable holding the day, holding, this is it. Okay, so we will say students, we want to access the same thing, isn't it? And what are we accessing? Let's say we are accessing student 1 and student 2, their the name and then the age. Okay, student 1 we want the age, and student 2 we want the name, sorry, and student 2 we want the age. Okay, so we will come here, students, then we will say that here we will say student 2. Okay, so let me say student 2, I want the name. Okay, so student 2, and then I'll bring square bracket again. What do I want from student 2? The name. So that I will say, I'll come here and I'll say name. It's as simple as that. Okay, if I want the same from the age from student 2, I can also do something like this. Then I'll say age here. Okay, if it's student 1, you just change the 1 to 2 and it's the same. Now we want to print, so I will just need to bring my print function and close all of them in my print. Okay, close it like this. The same thing, I'll bring my print like this, open my bracket, and then close my bracket here. You see? So now if I run this, I will get the name of student 2, which is what? Isaac, and then the age of student 2, which is what? 35. So when I run it like this, I should get Isaac and 35. I can change this to student 1, and when I run, I'll get different. Dennis, student 1 name is what? Dennis. Student 2 age is what? 35. You see? I can also change this one to student 1 like this, and when I run, I'll get 32. So this is how we access nested dictionaries. Take note of that, okay? I can also say something like this. Students dot items, and get all the items in the nested what? Dictionary. Which when I run, I'll get all the items in the nested dictionary. You see? Remember the items we used to access, get all of them. We use dot values to get the values in the dictionary. We use dot keys to get all the keys in the dictionary. Okay? So there's a question. Can you scroll up from the beginning? Oh, don't worry. Okay, if you need the resources are posted on our Discord. We have a Discord channel. You can look in my bio, or you can go to our YouTube, the same name, Darko Labs. The YouTube link is in my bio. When you go there, there's a Discord link. The resources will be posted there. Okay, so don't worry about taking any picture and all that. All this will be posted there for you to take and do whatever you want. Okay. All right. So now we know how to access nested dictionaries, right? Let's look at how we can iterate over nested dictionaries. I know this will be difficult for you guys, but let's look at how we can do it. Okay, iterating over nested dictionaries. Okay, so what are we going to do? First, we will say for. Let's give our definitions or our temporary variables. So let's say we want student ID, comma, let's say we want student underscore info. We will set them, don't worry. Okay, in what? In our students. Okay, in our students dot items. So we want all of them. So we are telling it to go through the entire students dictionary, get all the items, okay, and then store them in this particular temporary variable for us. Okay, now we want to also print. Okay, we need to print them. So now let me use the method, the one you gave earlier. Okay, so we want to print. So I will say, instead of reprinting, I will say that student, okay, student underscore ID, okay, student underscore ID. Then I'll bring something like this. Inside, then my colon. So I mean, this is what you wanted, right? And then outside. So sometimes I usually bring space like this. Outside, I'll bring my student underscore info. So these are the two we want to print here. All right. And then now it's an iterating. So we are iterating. Okay. So I will say for key comma value. Okay, for key comma value in I will say this in student info. Okay, in student info, what should I do? Dot items. Okay, so we are only iterating over the nested loop. This one we are iterating over this thing. Okay, which is just simple. You first set your main one, you print what you want to get. Now when we are iterating, we want to get a key and value from what we stored here. Okay, what we stored here, we want to get all of them, the key and the value here. And then now all that we need to do is bring our colon and still print again. Print what? Print the key. Okay, key space bracket open colon and then space what? Value. Okay, all right. So let's see, Simon, if your method will also work. Okay, Oh, okay, thank you guys. Yeah, Doc, I trust you. I hope you are doing well. So we are just making it simple here. So you see, so let's see how it goes. So you see, invalid syntax. Perhaps you forgot a comma. There's a comma somewhere. Oh, okay, okay. Let me see. Um, okay, so it's not allowing us to give this. Okay, I think it's not accepting it. Maybe the new Python version doesn't accept. So we need to. So you see where it's pointing to here. So let's do something like this. Let's do something like this. Okay, let's do something like this. Okay, it will not work. So Sammy, they've updated it, so we need to go by this. We need to go by this. Okay, we need to go by this. All right, so what we can do is I'll just switch this here like this. Okay, and then I'll come here, say F, right, put them in my bracket, double quotation mark, and then I'll come here, my first curly bracket, and then I'll come here. Then now I will bring my, what do you call it, my colon, okay, then my curly bracket open, and then my curly bracket close. All right, so this should work same for this. So let me first bring the curly brackets open and close, curly bracket, then I'll clear this, open and close curly brackets. Okay, then now I'll bring my double quotes, one clear, so I'll bring my F double quotes, and I'll go at the end, another one quote. All right, so you see, so now we've iterated over the nested what dictionary. So we have student one, okay, this is the data, then name, this, and then student two, this is the data, and then name is this. So you get a logic. We were just, the first loop, we were iterating to get all the items. That's why you see all the items for student one, all the items for student two. Then now we go again. Once we print it, this is it. Then now we go again, then we say, for the next loop, get the key and then the value. So you see, we get a key, which is, and then the value, we get a key, the value. We get a key, the value, we get a key, the value. It's as simple as that. So when we remove this loop, we only get student one like this and student two like this. Okay? So when we run this loop, you see, we get student one like this, student two like this. But the moment we add this loop, then we get the entire key value. Alright? I hope it is clear. Right? I hope it is clear. Let's look at another one, which is dictionary comprehension. I hope we are in line with the topics, right? Yes, dictionary comprehension. Then we look at the practical examples. Then we are done. Then you guys can request and ask any question you want. So let's look at dictionary comprehension. Okay. So dictionary comprehension is it's more like, okay, let me set an example so we can understand. So let's say square. What example should I set? Squares. Let's say squares is assigned to, and then inside our dictionary, let's say x colon. This is the key. So we have the key x, and then let's say our value is going to be x square of it. Then we use for loop. Okay. So x square 2. Okay. Then we are saying that, remember I taught you this, how you can write efficient code and reduce memory. Okay, you don't have to let your laptop or your computer consume a lot of memory. So that's what we are doing. So squares is equal to x colon x squared. The times 2 is this is basically x squared. Okay, so don't be confused. You guys remember this, right? Okay, so we are saying that x colon x squared for x in range. What should be our range? Let's say 10. Okay, let's set a condition. If x modulo 2, where is my 2? 2 is equal to 0. Then what do? We print the squares. Okay, so we come outside of this, then we print the squares. So you guys, let's explain. So what we are saying here is that comprehension. We want to comprehend every dictionary. So we are saying that we've set a range, and let's print our range so you guys know the values in the range. Okay, so let's print our range. So you see the range 0 to what? 10. Okay, so this is our range. So looking at this range, we are saying that at every loop, okay, at every loop in this range, square it, and our key is x, and the value should be this key, which is x squared, which means that the values are going to be the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those are the values, and the values we will square them. Okay, we are going to square the values, and when we square the values, then we say we check for if that particular value modulo 2 is equal to 0. So if the is modulo 2 is equal to 0 and there are no reminders, then print that particular value for us, and that's it. So when we run, you see the key, which is 0, and then because it's picking all the keys, which is 0 to 10. So 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, because we are squaring it. So 0, of course, 0 square is 0. Because we are squaring it, so 2 square of which is what? 4. 4 squared 16, 6 squared this, 8 squared this, and we check the modulo. So we don't want the remainders. That's why we are not seeing the odd numbers here. We are not seeing 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. See? Those will be remainders. That's why we are saying that if the x modulo 2 is equal to 0, so in a nutshell, we are getting the even numbers, and that's it. You get the concept? In a nutshell, we are rather getting the even numbers, and that's it. Okay? So this is how we work with dictionary comprehension, where we can just square it, and based on that, we use for loop, and based on that, we can set our own condition. But this, mostly, they are not really used, but it's efficient to write codes like this. Okay, you make sure your code, you reduce a lot of memory, and don't worry, these things I will teach you well when we get to data structures and algorithms. You need to understand the data structures in Python first, then when we get to data structures and algorithms, you understand how you can write efficient codes using big O notations and all that ideas. You'll be able to write these kind of codes. Okay, all right. Now let's look at practical example, then we are done. Let's look at a practical example. Okay, let's look at a practical example. So now let's look at a practical example. Now the practical example, let me see if I can get a typical example. Okay, so let's say we want to use a dictionary. Okay, let's say we want to use a dictionary to count. Okay, we want to use, now we understand dictionary, right? Let's look at a typical example. We want to use a dictionary to count the frequency, okay, the frequency of elements in list. Okay, you see what I'm doing now? I want us to use a dictionary to count the frequency of elements in a list. Okay, so we are going to use a dictionary to count the frequency of a list. So let's see how it's done. Now what I would need to do is I would need to count. So definitely there are going to be numbers, so let's assign our numbers. Okay, so let's say numbers, and the question is use a dictionary to count. So we are using numbers, the frequency of elements in list. So we are going to use list, isn't it? So I will come here, I will use list. And inside my list, let's say we are going to have 1, 2, let's say another 2, let's say we are going to have 3, let's say we are going to have 3 3s, so 3 comma 3. Let's say we are going to have 4 4, so 4 comma 4 comma 4 comma 4. Okay, so we are using a dictionary to count the frequency of elements in this particular list. Okay, now this list is being stored in numbers, so we can use numbers anywhere, right? So now let's set our dictionary. So frequency, okay, is assigned to dictionary. Remember the curly bracket for dictionary, for set, the square bracket for list. The bracket is for set, so remember all those things. Okay, now we are saying that use a dictionary to count the frequency. So frequency here, okay, is empty. Now we are going to use loop, because we are going to use a dictionary to count the frequency of elements in a list occurring, the frequency of their occurrence. Okay, and for us to get those numbers, we have to set an empty dictionary, and then when we get the count here, then we put it in this particular dictionary. It's as simple as that, right? So what we will do here is we will say for number, this is a temporary variable. Okay, so for number in numbers, okay, for the number, this is a temporary variable in this particular numbers. Okay, so for number in numbers, like this, all right, if you see, we know all these things. If number, right, in frequency, okay, so for now I'm iterating over numbers. I'm iterating over here, over this, and once I'm done iterating, I'm setting a condition that if the number, what I will get here and stored in this, inside this, if the number in the frequency, which I'm going to store in this frequency, if number in frequency, okay, if number in frequency, then what do I do? If the number is in frequency, what do I do? Then I will say frequency number, then we get a number. Okay, now else I'll come back to something. I'll show you guys something. Let me do this. Let me go back a step. Yes, else, okay, else I'll do what? Else frequency, I'll bring my square bracket. You know how we access elements and we store, right? Else frequency number, and then I'll come and do something here again. Then I'll come back like this, I'll come like this, I'll come like this, and then I'll print. Remember the indentation I told you guys? I'll print frequency, this one. I'll print the entire, just so we can see the data inside. Okay, now we are saying that when we run this, we will first need to add plus of 1 and also equal to 1, so that when we iterate, it doesn't continue to be iterating, it stops. So when I run this like this, you see I'll get error. So I need to set the condition. I'm saying that if number in frequency number is equal to, whenever it's iterating, it should be increased by 1, plus 1. So I can say plus equals 1. So it's going to be count plus 1. So when you count, then you add plus 1. When you count, then you add plus 1. Okay? And then here I can say equal to what? 1. So when you count, and if this condition is not met, right? If this condition is not met, and you move here, then it should be equal to 1. That's it. And when we run like this, we should get the key for 1 is 1. The key for 2 is 2. 3 for 3 is 3. So how many? All that we mean here is that what are the occurrence of 1? Is 1, isn't it? What are the occurrence of 2? Is what? 2. What is the occurrence of 3? 1, 2, 3. So it's 3. What is the occurrence of 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is 4. So we pick all these individual 1, 2, 3, 4 as keys. Then for us to get the values, we then add plus 1, and then we be counting. Else we equal to 1. So we are seeing that 1 is 1, occurrence is 1, it occurs once. The 2 occurs 2 times. The 3 occurs 3 times, the 4 occurs 4 times. That's why we did +1 and then equal to 1. And you will be able to get this. And this is just a simple frequency, how we can count the occurrence of a particular elements in a list. Okay? Alright. And there's one last thing I want us to do, then we are done, which we call it. I think I didn't add it to my notes, but I just remembered. I didn't add it to my notes. So that one is called merge. Okay? Let's look at merge. Merge 2 dictionaries. Okay? I think it's good I teach you that one. Into one. How we can merge 2 dictionaries into one. Okay? So let's say we have dictionary 1, which is equal to, let's say A. Let me make it simple so we don't have to waste time here. A and then 1. Okay? And then let's say we have another one which is okay, B colon, let's say 2, right? Colon 2. Alright. Now let me just copy the same. Just copy the same and change, instead of 1, I'll make here 2. Okay? And I'll change here to be B. Okay? And then I will change here to be 3. And then I'll change here to be C. And then I'll change here to be, let's say, 4. Okay? So here, we are merging 2 dictionaries into one. How we can merge this as one. Okay? And it's very simple. Let's define a variable. Say merge underscore, let's say, dictionary. Okay? And then with this merge, this is how we do the merge. Okay? In a dictionary like this, now I'm going to bring 2 stars. These 2 stars tells us that I want the key value pairs. That's it. These 2 stars I'm putting here means that I want the key value pairs in the dictionaries. That's it. So you are telling Python that, or you are telling the computer that you want 2 value pairs in the dictionary. Okay? And then I can just say, where do I want them from? Dictionary 1, comma, and then I also want the 2 value pairs in dictionary 2, like this. Okay? And now I can just print my merge. Alright? Oh, sorry. I can just print my merge like this. You can choose to bring the print, or you can leave it like it to still print for you. So when I run this, you see A1, B3, C4. So A is 1, B is, you see, because B is here and B is here, it gets the last one, because it sees it as if you are making a change, you are modifying it. The moment this is first and this is second, it will pick the second one. It sees the second one as modification. Okay, Clayton, 2 value pairs is simply this. Dictionary, we said this is the 2 value pairs. You see, name, the key, alright, and then the value. Now we are using colon. Now all these are called 2 value pairs. 2 key value pairs. Okay, I shouldn't even bring the 2. So it's key value pairs. So this is what we call key value, and then the colon pairs them. Okay, so key value pairs. That's it. So this is the key value pairs. And when we come here, we are saying that we want to merge these 2 dictionaries. And in merging, if they are duplicates, it will pick the last one which has a which tells the computer that there is a modification. That is why we are picking 3 and then we are picking C. We are not picking the B2 because we have 2 B's. So it will pick the last B as modification. Okay. So if we say that, if we use the 2 asterisk or 2 star, we are telling the computer that we want to have a what we call a key value pairs. Okay. So it's basically a key value pairs. When you want to use a key value pairs, always use the star, 2 of the stars, which tells us that we want the first key and then we want the next value. So the first star is the key, the second star is the value. Okay, all right. So guys, thank you so much for joining today's session. And today it's been a wonderful lesson and session. And if you guys have any question, don't hesitate. You can post it on the Discord or here. You can just request and come up, and I'll be glad to assist.